Dig deep into the mystery of Lilith, the first woman. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and from the dust of the ground, he shaped mankind, breathing into his nostrils the breath of life. Genesis 2 verse 7, ESV. Adam awoke in the verdant paradise of Eden, surrounded by divine splendor, lush trees bowing with fruit, rivers sparkling under the sun, and creatures frolicking in harmonious delight. Yet, within the majestic surroundings, a profound truth lingered unspoken. God observed that it was not good for man to be alone, and thus a new creation emerged, the first woman, crafted from the same red earth as Adam. This woman, known as Lilith, wandered amidst the luxuriant gardens, feeling the soft caress of Eden's breeze against her skin. She was infused with the same divine essence as Adam, yet she felt an undefined weight upon her heart, wrought by the expectations of her existence. An unyielding hunger for recognition gnawed at her spirit. Why must her role be confined solely to that of a helper? Had she not been molded from the earth with the same care and purpose? As days turned into weeks, Lilith caught glimpses of her reflection in the still waters. She searched her soul, asking herself, what makes me less than Adam? What is my purpose if not a partner in his reign? Beneath the sprawling branches of a mighty fig tree, she grappled with the tensions of life in Eden, her spirit yearning for independence unfulfilled, as she observed Adam, blissfully unaware of the tempest that swirled within her. One star-laden night, with celestial spheres glimmering above, the dam holding her thoughts finally broke. Adam's laughter, echoing through the fragrant blossoms, rang hollow beside the echo of her own unspoken desires. At that moment, Lilith made an extraordinary choice. A choice for autonomy. She would not dwell in the shadows of expectation, she would carve out her own identity. With resolve, she stepped away from the familiar paths of Eden towards the vast unknown that lay beyond. As she walked into the wilderness, darkness faded behind her, revealing a sense of burgeoning freedom. Here, amidst untamed flora and fauna, her journey unfolded. Creatures of all kinds roamed the wild, her existence now free to explore the depths of her being. With each challenge faced, the whispers of nature called her deeper into the heart of her purpose. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As dawn broke on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Lilith found herself at a precipice, a moment pregnant with possibility. The wilderness whispered ancient truths, revealing that her existence held a complexity rich with potential. No longer defined merely by her relationship to Adam, she stood poised above the world, bearing the weight of her newfound independence. Yet a looming question whispered through the wilderness: what would be the legacy of her defiant spirit? As she pondered the depths of her journey, a greater revelation awaited. Would her quest for purpose illuminate the path ahead, or would her struggle ensnare her in a web of uncertainty? The essence of her story lingered, calling for exploration, a divine resolution hidden within God's intricate narrative. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting its warming glow upon the wilderness, Lilith ventured deeper into the untamed land. Her heart danced with newfound hope, but the weight of her solitude began to press upon her spirit. Each rustle of leaves, each call of distant creatures echoed her inner turmoil, reminding her of the love she had left behind. Yet, the wild embraced her, offering a canvas upon which to paint her own existence. That in those expansive, silent moments, she sought the very voice of creation. The land sang, the waters flowed with stories untold. As Lilith embraced the beauty of the wild, she discovered the fruits of the earth, berries bursting with sweetness, roots imbued with healing. She marveled at the omnipresent nature of the Creator's handiwork all around her. What is this world, O God? What purpose do you weave within my heart? She pondered, raising her hands to the heavens. Days passed, and Lilith grew accustomed to her solitude, yet she remained restless. One fateful evening, as she nestled among the ancient stones, a serpent, sleek and gentle, emerged from the shadows. Its eyes shimmered with a knowing glint. "Why do you wander alone, daughter of the earth?" It hissed softly. Lilith looked into the depths of its gaze and found not malice but curiosity mirrored back. "I seek my truth," she replied, her voice trembling. "I long to understand why I was made. Is my existence tied only to the shadow of Adam?" The serpent coiled closer, its demeanor calming. "What if there is more to your story, Lilith? You walk in the wonders of creation, yet your heart seeks something beyond the garden of expectations. Do not fear the wilderness, it may guide you to a greater understanding." Inspired by the serpent's words, Lilith ventured forth into the night, yearning for knowledge. She wandered under the vast tapestry of stars, contemplating her journey. In this place of wonder, she encountered the spirits of creation, each held a fragment of wisdom. A deer spoke of grace, a wolf of strength, and the eagle soared high, whispering of freedom. "Seek the truth of your being," the eagle called out. "What is forged within you shall not be buried." Lilith felt the currents of divine purpose flow through her. There, beneath the moonlit sky, she faltered not at the thought of her rebellion, but embraced it. "I am more than a reflection of another, I am a unique creation, endowed with strength and potential." And the voice of the Lord echoed through the rustling leaves, "I have seen your heart, Lilith, and I have woven your desires into my creation. Your journey is not in vain, your legacy is being established with each step." She stood breathless, the air thick with revelation. Each moment of doubt, every struggle within the Garden of Eden, now burst forth like spring flowers in the wild. The pain of solitude transformed into a powerful anthem of self-discovery, but amidst her triumph, a shadow loomed. What path would she now choose? As her heart beat in rhythm with the wilderness, little did she know that her defiance would resonate through generations, summoning hearts and spirits lost in the echoes of longing. As Lilith embraced her purpose, a divine plan unfolded, bridging her destiny with the world that would follow. For in her quest for identity, hidden truths awaited revelation. But what she remained unaware of was the profound connection her journey would have with the one who would come later, ushering a new legacy of humanity into the promise of redemption. As the moon hung like a silver lantern in the heavens, casting soft luminescence upon the earth, Lilith stood at the edge of a shimmering lake. Its surface mirrored the celestial bodies above, each twinkling star, a testament to the intricate tapestry of creation. She knelt by the water, gazing deep into its depths as if searching for the very essence of her being. "O Creator, what lies within the heart of your creation?" she cried out, her voice stirring the stillness. "Show me why I was made, why you have set me apart." In that instant, the waters began to ripple, a gentle breeze whispered through the trees carrying the voice of the Almighty. "I have crafted you, Lilith, in my image. Your essence carries my breath. Though the world may not understand, I see you as you are the firstborn of the earth. Your existence is not merely a shadow but the beginning of a new dawn." The gentle cadence of his words wrapped around Lilith like a warm embrace, igniting a flame of courage within her soul. "Then what do I do with this life? How shall I stand in the face of what is to come? What is my role in this unfolding pattern of creation?" As she pondered these questions, she felt a presence drawing near. Turning, she saw the serpent once more. "In your quest, you question the very foundations of your existence," it purred, its scales shimmering under the starlight. "What if embracing your unique journey leads to a grand design, interwoven with pain and triumph?" Intrigued by its words, Lilith listened intently. "Speak, O serpent. For in your wisdom, I sense a path untrodden. What further truth do you hold? Consider," it began, "that your rebellion might awaken a truth within the very heart of man. The journey of defiance leads to knowledge, and knowledge brings light, a light that will illuminate the way for generations yet to come." Lilith's heart quickened. "Is it possible, then, that my choices are woven into the destiny of others? Am I to be a light that pierces the shadows?" "Indeed, dear one," the serpent replied, its eyes glowing with understanding. "Through your rebellion shall the world learn, and through that learning, they may find redemption. Emboldened by revelation, she stood taller, her heart aligned with the wild rhythm of creation. I will not shy away from who I am, I shall embrace my authenticity. The burdens of solitude shall not hinder me, but will be the very soil that nourishes my growth. And as she resolved to embrace her identity, the heavens responded with a bolt of lightning that tore through the silence, illuminating the night. A surge of power coursed through her, binding her spirit to the earth beneath her feet. I declare, she uttered, voicing her newfound purpose, that through my choices, I shall paint a new destiny for womanhood, a legacy fortified by truth, strength, and unwavering faith. Yet, amidst her declaration, the sky darkened momentarily, mirroring the tumult of questions that loomed above her. What trial awaited her? How would the unfolding story intertwine with that of Adam, the first man? Would her courage lead to conflict or eventual harmony in creation's design? In the weave of divine providence, unbeknownst to her, a prophetic echo began to swell, a call that would resonate through ages and generations, leading to an astonishing truth about humanity's redemption. For it was not just her journey that would impact the world, it would be the very essence of her decisions and the legacy born of her struggle that painted the tapestry of mankind's salvation. Yet, with every stride taken forward, the question lingered: what might be the depths of God's sovereign plan for the first woman, and how would her journey echo in the halls of eternity? And it came to pass, as the echoes of her declaration faded into the night, the earth beneath Lilith's feet began to tremble as the ground resonated with her fervent spirit. The stars flickered as if responding to her resolve, while the moon cast its silvery gaze upon her, marking her bold ascent into the unknown. Fear not, the voice of the Almighty beckoned again, the very air vibrant with divine energy. Your courage has been noted in the heavens, yet the path you tread shall not be free of peril. What you choose to embrace will stir the hearts of many. Lilith's resolve hardened. I shall bear the weight of my choices. But tell me, O Creator, what must I be prepared to face? In response, the ground split, and from its depths arose a shimmering figure, the likeness of a man, dust and breath intertwined. Adam stirred from his slumber, awakening to the sight of Lilith, whom he would come to know as his kin. He blinked against the dim light, and his eyes met her fierce spirit. Who art thou? Adam questioned, confusion shading his voice. I am Lilith, she replied, her tone steady. The first of my kind, forged from the very essence of creation. A spark of recognition flooded Adam's face. You are, the first. They told tales of someone to stand with me, to share dominion over the earth. And so it must be, she responded, stepping closer. Together, we shall navigate the tapestry of this world, interwoven with both grace and challenge. But no, I am not simply to be your companion, I am forged with purpose. As Adam absorbed her words, the spirit of unity began to bind their hearts, and the very garden around them blossomed in vibrant hues of life. The trees whispered with the secrets of their origins, and the flowers sang anthems woven since creation. But even as blossoms thrived, dark shadows crept at the edge of the paradise, a looming presence that sought to sever what God had deemed good. For the serpent, cast from the heights of grace, watched with eyes full of cunning, its heart seeping with envy. In solitude lies your strength, Lilith, it coiled, slithering from the shadows. Why share this world with another? Will the man elevate you, or will he extinguish your light? Lilith's heart sank for a moment before rising again in defiance. What I carry within me is not to be diminished nor suffocated. I shall stand as an equal, a beacon of light amidst the shadows. With this proclamation, she felt the wind carry her words, a herald of her defiance echoing through the realms. The heavens rumbled softly, affirming her God-given authority, but the serpent, sly and entrenched in its malice, whispered further temptations. But be forewarned, dear Lilith, for the man was formed from the very dust, he may not understand the depth of your spirit. One day, your rebellion may be seen as disobedience. Lilith trembled at this revelation, the weight of potential conflict stirring within her heart. And as Adam stood by, unknowing of the tempest brewing in their midst, a seed was sown. With each word, the foundations of creation started to shift, weaving a narrative beyond their comprehension, a narrative of love, sacrifice, and eventual redemption. Thus, in the heart of the garden, a dance of divine purpose began to unfold, and amidst vibrant flowers and the whisper of trees, the fate of the world pivoted on the choices of the first woman. Little did they know that pain and triumph would walk hand in hand as they traversed the shadows of their decisions. For, unseen threads of destiny were at play, weaving a grand narrative, one that would echo throughout the ages. And in each choice lay the essence of God's sovereign plan, soon to be revealed in ways they could not yet imagine. Would Lilith's spirit of defiance lead to strife, or would every step taken guide them toward a future beyond their wildest dreams? In the days that followed their meeting, a harmony flourished in the garden, as Lilith and Adam explored the beauty of creation together. The sun shone bright, casting warm rays upon blooming flowers, and the birds sang songs that filled the air with joy. Day by day, they walked hand in hand along the winding paths, reveling in the bountiful gifts of the Almighty. But amidst their joy, whispers of doubt lingered, the serpent's taunts echoing through the hidden corners of Lilith's heart. "Will you truly be cherished as you are?" It hissed softly, serpentine words dripping with deceit. "Or will you remain forever in his shadow, a mere reflection of his glory?" Lilith paused now and then, the weight of the serpent's words coiling around her spirit like ivy. With Adam beside her, she felt a clash within his presence brought warmth, yet each passing moment carried the unease that the serpent stirred. "Why do you hesitate, dear sister? Why allow shadows to cloud your affection?" Adam queried, his brow furrowed as he noticed the flicker of uncertainty in her gaze. "I seek to understand the fullness of our existence," Lilith replied earnestly, her voice steady yet laden with concern. "What does it mean to be made in the image of our Creator?" Adam pondered her question deeply, and though his heart was pure, he was silent. For in his simplicity, he had not yet grasped the depth of their creation. Days turned to weeks, and as they labored in the garden, the serpent revealed himself again, this time cloaked in unassuming familiarity. "Ah, Lilith, do you perceive the beauty of the fruits that hang upon the trees? Look closely, for knowledge awaits," it lured, with cunning subtlety. Knowledge? Lilith thought, a spark of curiosity igniting within her. What wisdom could such fruits impart? "Behold!" the serpent proclaimed, its eyes glinting with mischief. "Eat of the tree that stands at the center, and you shall know what lies beyond. Your eyes will be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil." The words danced on her ears, enticing and perilous. Yet Lilith's heart wrestled with the command of God, who had declared the fruit of that tree forbidden. She turned to Adam, who watched her with an earnest expression, a contrast to the serpent's sweetness. "Shall we not trust our Creator? He fashioned us with care, providing with abundance," Adam reminded her, yet uncertainty shadowed his voice. As days unfolded, the whispers of the serpent intensified, its web tightening around Lilith's resolve. "You were created unique, a precious gem in his sight. Should you not claim your identity?" It urged, each word dripping with allure. Compelled by inner turmoil, at sunset one fateful eve, Lilith found herself standing beneath the tree of knowledge, the fruit gleaming under the moonlight. The shimmering skin beckoned her, whispering promises of enlightenment and power. Just as her hand reached toward the fruit, she hesitated, recalling the command of God that resounded in her ears, the divine warning yet not fully understood. As the garden concealed its secrets, Adam stood watch, oblivious to the burgeoning conflict. With every moment stretching into eternity, a choice loomed large. Would Lilith give in to the serpent's temptation, altering the course of creation? Or would her inner strength prevail, reflecting the essence of the Creator who had breathed life into her? In that thin moment hung the weight of destiny, the delicate tapestry of the world poised on the edge of a decision. Little did they realize that beyond this crossroads, a grand design lay waiting to be unfurled, a divine plan ignited by love, hope, and an unyielding promise. What unforeseen realities awaited them in the unfolding of God's sovereign story? As Lilith stood before the tree, the fruit shimmered with an otherworldly glow, a silent call that echoed through the depths of her soul. Time itself seemed to pause, and as she glanced back towards Adam, she saw him tending to the flowers, blissful in their care. Yet, the serpent's voice wrapped around her like mist, hazy and enticing. Why linger in obedience when divinity awaits? It whispered, seducing her spirit. Your eyes will be opened, you will rise above what you were meant to be. You need but take a single bite. In that moment, the air grew thick with tension. The command of the Lord throbbed in her heart. But God has said you shall surely die if you eat of it, she recalled, her thoughts battling within. A deep yearning clawed at her essence. Was it not her right to seek knowledge, to embrace the fullness of her being? As she reached out, her fingers brushed against the cool, smooth surface of the fruit, a sensation both exhilarating and terrifying. The knowing glance of the Almighty danced in her mind, invoking memories of creation, of stars, of breath, of life. Should she defy his command and open the floodgates of understanding? Adam, sensing a disturbance within her, turned and called out softly, Lilith, what troubles your heart? Uncertainty clouds your brows. His voice was a lifeline, grounding her, yet the serpent interjected swiftly. Does he truly desire your well-being? Or is he afraid of the power that knowledge holds? It hissed, injecting venom into her thoughts. Suddenly, the weight of her choice bore down upon her. In that luminous moment beneath the tree, anguish mingled with desire. The garden, alive with the sounds of a gentle breeze, now felt too quiet, too aware of her hesitance. Resolutely, Lilith withdrew her hand and took a step back, allowing the truth to settle within her spirit. This power it promises, I will not grasp if it means defying the Creator. But the serpent coiled around her thoughts anew, planting seeds of doubt. Would he not desire your growth? Why then confine you to such fear? It purred, its words sailing through her mind like a serpent in the grass. You were crafted with divine purpose. Stand firm in your identity. As she wrestled with this internal strife, the sky above shifted, dark clouds gathering, murmurs of thunder rumbling as if the heavens awaited her decision. Choose wisely, a voice whispered from the depths of her heart, piercing through confusion like a beacon. Lilith took a breath, her resolve strengthening. In trust, I abide. I will not claim what is reserved for him alone. The serpent hissed with fury, the atmosphere trembling with unseen forces. Time felt bent on itself as Lilith took another step back, retreating from temptation and toward the heart of God's intention. Adam, she called softly, let us rejoice in what we have, in the gifts bestowed upon us. I desire not to seek beyond what was given for our erudition. But, just as she turned, a shadow crossed Adam's face. Was it perplexity or something more? In his eyes, she discerned the struggle, doubt begetting bewilderment, the clash of the divine and the insidious. As dusk descended, the garden seemed to mourn the lingering tension. The loyalties of their hearts stood stark before God, and the air thickened with a silence that pressed upon their spirits. What they neither knew nor recognized, however, was that this moment would ripple across eternity. Though they sought to grasp understanding, the foundation of their union would soon be shaken, as untold parts of the Father's plan began to unveil. For within this struggle lay seeds of a promise yet unimagined. In the depths of darkness, divine light flickered, illuminating that which would soon transform the future of creation itself. But what remained concealed, beyond their choices, was the unfathomable blueprint that bound their existence to the fate of all mankind. And it came to pass that as the shadows deepened in the garden, Adam turned from the flowers he tended and regarded Lilith with eyes full of concern. Dear Lilith, he said, his voice infused with tenderness, why does your heart seem troubled? Have you heard the whispers of the winds? Lilith met his gaze, her heart caught in a web of uncertainty. There is a restless whisper among the trees, Adam. A voice that speaks of knowledge beyond our understanding, enticing me to partake of the fruit. Yet, I feel the weight of our Creator's command upon my spirit. Adam's brow furrowed, and a frown deepened. The Lord has set boundaries for our protection, for our joy in the garden. To touch that tree might lead us to despair rather than enlightenment, he cautioned, his heart urging her to remember the goodness of their Creator. But scarcely had he finished speaking when the serpent, coiling with cunning grace, slipped from behind the tree's gnarled roots. Ah, but who are you to deny the wisdom that beckons from this fruit? It hissed, its tongue flickering in the twilight. You were made in the image of the Almighty, crafted to know and to embrace all creation. The fruit brings not only knowledge but life, a life that brings true freedom, breaking the chains of ignorance. In her heart, the tumult stirred anew. Lilith turned to Adam, seeking solace in his presence, but in his eyes lingered shadows of uncertainty, a reflection of the very struggle she sought to resist. The serpent's words twisted around her mind, wrapping her thoughts in confusion. Is it truly disobedience to seek what was gifted to us at creation? To discover the hidden depths of our existence? She pondered aloud, her voice tinged with hesitation. No, my beloved. It is not the seeking that is wrong, but the path by which you seek it, Adam implored, stepping closer, a hand extended toward her. Trust in the goodness of our Lord. We have all we need amidst these lush gardens, where every tree brings forth life without death. Yet the serpent surged forward, its gaze malevolent. What if this path leads not to death but to a greater union with the divine? Will he not draw near to you when you embrace the fullness of his promise? Ask yourself, is it not the desire of your heart to reach beyond mere existence? As darkness gathered, a tension mounted in the air, palpable as a storm's breath. Lilith felt the pull of the fruit, the bright allure beckoning her still, more fervently as the serpent wove its insidious words with silken threads of doubt and temptation. Will you permit the voice of obedience to bind your spirit? Will you remain in long shadows cast by fear? It questioned, reflecting her growing internal conflict. Deep within, a war raged, the knowledge of her Creator invoking faith, while the promise of wisdom ignited curiosity. She weighed the light of hope against the darkness of despair, caught in the ancient tug of obedience and desire. In that moment, she withdrew momentarily, as if to gather the very threads of her being. I shall trust. She declared inwardly, her heart resolute. In him lies my strength, not in what may lead to sorrow. But, as dawn broke, painting the heavens in golden hues, the whisper of the serpent lingered still, taunting as if it could sense her wavering resolve. Though she sought to turn away, she felt an unseen pull toward the tree, a longing to taste the forbidden nectar. In the shadows, unseen watches observed their struggle, the course of humanity pivoting upon this fragile juncture. As creation held its breath, waiting for the unfolding of God's magnificent plan, the serpent danced in anticipation, knowing well the decree of doom that would soon break the fragile peace. For little did they know, this was no mere choice between obedience and defiance. It was the initiation of a story written long before the foundations of the world were laid. The Lord's purpose was on the brink of revelation, and from the depths of this trial, a covenant of grace was set to emerge, interwoven with the tapestry of mankind's destiny. And it came to pass that as the dawn's light spilled over the verdant expanse of Eden, Lilith stood captivated by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, temptation coursing through her veins like fire. The serpent coiled at the base, its eyes gleaming, as if it could perceive the tumult within her soul. Why hesitate, dear one? It implored softly, its voice flowing like honey. Do you wish to remain in ignorance when the door to wisdom is ajar? All that you seek lies within your grasp, waiting for a daring heart. Lilith, torn yet resolute, felt the weight of the command upon her heart. She remembered the words of the Almighty, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die, Genesis 2 verse 17. She fought to hold her ground, yet the promise of enlightenment shimmered like 1,000 stars beckoning from the darkness. Why should the Lord withhold such knowledge from you? The serpent continued, weaving his web of deception. He knows that in partaking of the fruit, your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil, Genesis 3 verse 5. The words wrapped around her, caressing her spirit with a tantalizing chill. Adam watched from a distance, his heart heavy as he felt the tension in the air. Lilith, remember who you are, he pleaded, stepping forward. You are beloved, made by his hand. Do not let the serpent sway you from the beauty of his creation. His voice was earnest, trembling with concern as he reached out toward her, yet the gravity of her inner conflict held her captive, and then, in that charged moment, the fruit dangled before her, a glistening, crimson orb that pulsed with an otherworldly allure. She reached toward it, trembling as her heart raced with fear and desire. What shall I do, Lord? She cried silently within, her spirit wrestling with the serpent's cunning. As if sensing her wavering faith, the serpent hissed with seductive promise, "Would you not choose to embrace your true self? What greater gift could there be than to fully understand the world around you? Knowledge is power, dear Lilith, power that your Creator desires for you to wield." With a beating heart, she seized the fruit, its weight strange in her hand, blurring the lines of her very being. Adam's expression turned to one of despair. "No." He cried out, "Do not let the shadows consume you." But the grip of the fruit tightened around her soul, drowning out the sound of reason. "In the face of the unknown, I shall seek," she whispered with newfound resolve, and lifted the fruit to her lips. At that very moment, the skies seemed to quiver, and a hush fell over creation. The trees swayed uneasily, and the sun paused, casting a hesitating ray upon the earth. Lilith tasted the fruit, the sweetness bursting forth like a torrent of revelation. In an instant, her eyes were opened, and she saw not only the beauty of Eden but a vast expanse of knowledge and experience. Yet, with this newfound understanding came a flood of fear and shame. The weight of her choice settled heavily upon her, a realization blooming with painful clarity. She had crossed a line, shattering the sacred trust placed upon her. Unbeknownst to them, echoes of this moment resonated throughout the heavens. The ancient design creaked with the strain of decisions made not just in the garden but ordained before time began. In that pivotal instant of choice, a glimmer of hope shimmered in the distance, unfurling like a promise yet to be fulfilled. For who could fathom that through the frailty of human will, the Almighty's plan for redemption would blossom in ways unseen, ushering in the very genesis of grace, and as the sun rose higher, a celestial chorus awaited the unfolding of a divine mystery, echoing through the ages. The redemption of all creation lay hidden in the heart of this tragic choice. And it came to pass that, upon tasting the fruit, Lilith felt a stirring within her very essence, as if the fabric of creation itself had begun to unravel. The light of knowledge flooded her senses and she beheld the world anew. Yet with the clarity came a chilling shadow. Disconnected from the harmony she had once known, she saw turmoil and discord in place of the simplicity of innocence. Adam, witnessing this shift in his beloved, was consumed with grief. "What hast thou done, Lilith?" he implored, anguish painting each word. "The Lord commanded us to abstain. What darkness lies now in your heart?" A tremor rippled through the garden, for the ground seemed to sense the change in dominion. The serpent, satisfied with the chaos sown, watched with malignant anticipation as Lilith's spirit wrestled with the burden of choice. "You have crossed the threshold, dear one," it hissed, slithering closer, emboldened. "Now the world is yours to manipulate and behold. Accept your new destiny." Yet, as she stood in the midst of this eldritch awakening, Lilith felt a weight of tremulous responsibility that was unfamiliar. "What shall I do now?" she whispered, each syllable heavy with the gravity of consequence. And to the man, the serpent continued, "He shall be as a child again, yearning for the bliss that is now lost. Will you not guide him? You are the bearer of knowledge, the herald of a new age." Adam, feeling the sting of despair mingle with anger, pondered the fate now shared between them. "We were guardians of this paradise," he lamented, watching as their sanctuary began to shift into something darker. In that moment, a rustle echoed through the trees, but it was not the wind that caused the leaves to tremble. The voice of the Almighty reverberated through the silence, heavy with righteousness. "Where art thou?" He called into the vale of Eden, his presence shrouded in divine majesty and stern justice. Fear seized the hearts of Lilith and Adam. They hid amidst the foliage, attempting to cloak themselves in the shadows of their shame. Yet the omniscience of the Creator pierced through their feeble ruse. "Did I not give you command over the garden?" the voice thundered, laden with sorrow. "For this I had prepared for you, a life abundant in joy. What has become of this covenant?" With bated breath, Lilith felt the heaviness of her choice suffuse her spirit, weighing down any words she might offer. In her heart, she recognized the weight of her rebellion against the divine command. Adam, trembling, emerged from the thicket. "Lord, we have eaten from the tree which thou commanded us not to eat. It is because of her that I have been led astray." The serpent laughed in silent glee, sensing the dissonance growing between the first couple. Ah, the blame, the first sibling of sin. That which is hidden shall be revealed, the Almighty responded, and the consequence of your choice shall not escape the ripples of creation. As the echoes of his voice faded into the ethereal realm, a shroud of foreboding enveloped Eden. The sun dimmed, casting long shadows as if the very light recoiled from the truth that had unfolded. In that moment, the promise of redemption flickered, though its path remained obscured. Thus, as they stood there, bound by guilt yet embraced in love, a profound mystery loomed overhead. For the Almighty's plan would transcend their grave error, weaving through the tapestry of time a narrative of grace, waiting to blossom from the heart of their despair, and in the days to come, before the seasons turned to a barren winter, the whisper of hope would begin to stir once more. Yet in your fall, there shall arise a path unimagined, a promise unfurling through the ages. In the aftermath of the profound choice made in the garden, darkness hung heavy in the air. Lilith and Adam stood, hearts entwined yet frayed, in the throes of divine justice. The echoes of shame echoed in the breaths they shared, filled with the weight of their decisions. Each moment they spent in silence stirred the bitter realization creation was forever altered, and their once innocent existence was now marred by the knowledge of good and evil, yet amidst their despair, the Almighty's love remained steadfast, a promise whispered through the rustling leaves. My beloved creations, the voice of God gently thundered through the cavern of Eden, reverberating with a mixture of sorrow and hope. Your choice, while shrouded in darkness, has not escaped my sovereign plan. For even in this deep fall, the seeds of redemption are being woven into the very fabric of your being. Lilith, trembling with the gravity of her choices, dropped to her knees, murmuring, O Creator, what now becomes of us? Though the fruit has opened my eyes, I feel the weight of death surrounding me. Adam, kneeling beside her, reached for her hand. Shall our actions lead to eternal separation from you, Lord? How can we bear the devastation of our rebellion? Each word dripped with anguish, for they sensed that the communion between heaven and earth was fractured, and as they laid bare their hearts, the Almighty spoke once more, a voice tender yet empowered. Behold, Lilith, and Adam, the truth I unveil before you. Though this act signals separation, I shall raise a new covenant, a promise that transcends your fall. From you shall spring forth a lineage that will one day break the chains of sin and death. For it is through the very struggle you face that the hope shall emerge, a hope that shall dwell within the hearts of all humanity. Their hearts, once filled with agony, began to resonate with a flicker of light. They lifted their eyes, beholding the gentle cascade of grace emanating from the Almighty's presence. There will come a time when a Redeemer shall walk among men, his love greater than your transgression, and his sacrifice shall restore what was lost in the garden, the Lord declared. At this promise, Lilith's spirit stirred with a burgeoning realization. So, in our defiance, we have become a pivotal piece in the divine narrative. Our choices shall echo throughout eternity, birthing a legacy entwined in grace. Indeed, dear one, the Almighty affirmed. Though your hearts are heavy, this journey ahead shall pave the way for redemption. The fruit you have tasted reveals truth, yet it is a bittersweet knowledge. But I shall shelter you through storms, and you shall not walk this path alone. Adam's eyes sparkled with newfound hope. Must we not shelter the promise bestowed upon us as we navigate the trials to come? Can we stand firm in your truth as we face the world in our vulnerability? In your unity lies strength. Be guardians of the hope I impart. Together, face the shadows and bear witness to the light that shall emerge, God uttered, holding them close with divine compassion. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a rosy hue across the landscape, Lilith and Adam were enveloped in a sense of purpose beyond understanding. They were not mere reflections of each other, they were co-creators, woven into a tapestry of divine intention, a raw, complex dance of faith and frailty. With newfound resolve, Lilith arose, emboldened by the promise. I shall not let the shadows of regret stifle my spirit. We will teach the generations born of us not only of our fall but of the boundless grace that rises thereafter. Adam nodded, his heart illuminated by the strength of unity. And we will proclaim the truth of God's mercy that overshadows our mistakes, guiding all who follow towards everlasting hope. And thus, united in their renewed commitment, they stepped out of the shadows. The garden may have lost its innocence, yet the promise of redemption breathed life into their existence anew, transforming despair into a beacon of hope. As night enveloped the land, the stars twinkled brightly above, each one a reminder of the Creator's unwavering love. The journey ahead would be treacherous, marked by struggles and triumph, yet they resolved to embrace it, for their hearts now beat with the rhythm of the Creator's sovereign plan unfolding. In the depths of the night, the echoes of the future mingled with their resolve. A legacy was born. They would carve their path through history, living testament to the intertwining of grace and redemption, an eternal story that would reverberate into the ages. God's covenant would not be broken, it would shine forth, and through the trials, humanity would witness the beauty of hope rising from despair. Behold, dear hearts, the tapestry of creation continues, woven in love and sacrifice. As you reflect upon this story, recognize the echoes of your own journey, for God's love can transform every struggle into a declaration of His grace and promises fulfilled. Do not miss a single moment of the powerful stories unfolding in God's Word. You need to subscribe now to stay connected to His teachings. If this narrative has touched your heart, leave a like now to help spread biblical truth through the vastness of the internet. Take a moment to comment your reflections and how this journey of Lilith and Adam has impacted your faith. Let us share this powerful testimony. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to know God's truth. This is the moment to elevate His message and reach more souls for Christ.